my
Hello everyone and Happy New Year here from SimNews.TV, and I'm the Scrutineer. I'm Mike and I'm here for a special announcement. I've got quite a few guys in the channel here to chat to over the course of this show, some of which you will already know and have heard of and mentioned on our many shows here on SimNews.TV. But it's some exciting times here to start the year off. Really couldn't do much bigger than we're going to do here. So without further ado, you'll have already seen we've got a nice logo on the screen there for SRS. Now, so most of you are part of SimNews.TV viewers, and GPVWC.com viewers will also know that means Street Fighter Racing Systems, the Super League team over there at GPVWC.com. So I would like, without further ado, to bring straight in the team managers for that team heading into 2018. You will see the familiar names already, so I would like to welcome Mr. Ben Horrell and Mr. David Franchik into the building. Hello, guys.
How you doing, Mike? You okay?
Hello.
Oh, not bad at all. It's great to have you both on board. Ben, you seem to have gone a little bit quiet suddenly all of a sudden. That's a big shame. I shall change you around. That's alright. We don't want to cause a problem. There we go. Right. It's great to have you both on board. So, I haven't just got you in for a chat. As much as I'd love to have you here all the time for a chat here at SimNews.TV, we are very appreciative of everyone's time. Changed a little bit having Mr. Franchik on the management side as well, I suppose. So a big welcome to you. Welcome to team management, David.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here for a change.
It must be quite a big change for you, actually, I suppose. So for you guys, without further ado, really, should we just go with the big? Should we go with the big news from you guys? Because that's why you're here, and then we can start talking about things after that. So, really, we're moving into 2018. Street Fighter Racing Systems had a good year last year in GPWC.com, and because of that, I think you guys have managed to secure yourselves a rather nice sponsor. Maybe one of you could tell me more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously last year, our rookie season as a Super League outfit, myself, David as drivers did very well. During the off season, we've been very busy. We've managed to secure, like I said, a very big sponsor, and I'm really pleased to announce that this season we're going to be exclusively sponsored by Red Bull. So this is the first venture Red Bull have done into sim racing. Obviously, it's becoming very popular now with big teams such, we had the big announcement from ACR Zack Speed, but they're going to be an esports team, and obviously with the McLaren's World's Fastest Gamer. Big teams are now looking into sim racing, and we're really pleased to secure Red Bull on a multi-year contract with ourselves. So, that's something for us to look forward to. We're really pleased. Lots of hard work went into it. Lots of stressful conference calls and meetings, but we finally dragged it across the line, and we're pleased to announce that for the 2018 season.
Which is just massive news, really, from a sim racing perspective, from an esports perspective, from everyone knows who Red Bull are, surely, that's watching this stream at this time. You'll know that they're involved in all manner of sports and esports across the world. So to come on board with sim racing is a great thing, but to come on board with SRS, even more interesting, and GPWC.com as well. I'm going to display your nice new logo as well, which does...
Yeah, we've got a brand new logo courtesy of Doug. Yeah, it's absolutely huge. Red Bull, like I said, are a global company. They're absolutely massive. They're involved in everything from Formula One to grassroots motorsport, and just about everything in between. So to have them on board with GPV is obviously absolutely huge for not only us as a team, but for the league and sim racing in general. It's massive, and we're looking forward to just really getting that on board and really showcasing everything on the streams for GPV in the season.
I mean, it's a massive scoop, really. I couldn't emphasise to you guys how big a deal this potentially could be. Is this purely a sponsorship, as in a cash sponsorship? Is this there's a bit of intelligence involved? Is there going to be a bit of we're going to see Max Verstappen driving for you anytime soon? Is this is that kind of level, or is that part of the multi-year? Who knows what's going to happen down the line, sort of thing?
It is sort of something that may happen in the in the future. Obviously, I can't promise Max Verstappen joining GPV for 2019. But it's at the minute it is just purely sponsorship. We're looking into sort of, obviously it is a multi-year deal, so we're looking into sort of a tiered system and getting something sort of, you know, later on down the line. But I think it's a tentative step into sim racing in the world of esports from Red Bull, and you know we're looking to expand our partnership later on in the future.
How do you get something like this off the ground? Where do you start with this? Do you literally walk up to the Red Bull, factory and knock on the door, or you know, is there?
It started off with quite a lot of emails, and then it started. You know, it sort of progressed from there into phone calls, and then from there it progressed into multiple meetings at the HQ. You know, PowerPoint presentations to you know a board of directors. So it was big. It took a good, I'd say, 3 months to get sorted from initial contact to sort of contract signed. So I was working with them from the back of last season, I think from about Monza last year, to sort of, you know, concluded it at the start of last month, was when the deal was properly signed. So yeah, it took a long time, but the hard work was worth it. We managed to secure some fantastic drivers and some fantastic benefits off the back of it. So obviously I did enough to convince them. GPV obviously did enough to convince them in terms of their scope and their ambition as a league. And obviously R Factor 2 as a platform as well is absolutely huge, which helped us out massively as well. So yeah, it's just taking advantage of a lot of factors and, you know, making them see how beneficial it could be for both parties, really.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, some people may be surprised by this, I suppose, actually, in that this isn't, you know, Red Bull got that little link with iRacing recently, but there's not, you know, this isn't all the money going into an iRacing. This is an R Factor 2 league. This is GPVWC.com. This is, you know, a team at this level. It's huge for Red Bull to get interested in this sort of level. But, you know, you were doing the presentations to them. What was sort of their reaction? Obviously, the reaction was good because they've signed on. But, you know, what was the sort of things they were thinking of sim racing as a whole? Is that an avenue that is you know, sparking their attention, I suppose?
I believe it wasn't something that was interested in them initially. We had some really good timing actually with World Fastest Gamer. When World Fastest Gamer sort of dropped, and you know, I was able to show them the numbers involved in World Fastest Gamer. Obviously, we had a invested interest with watching Rudy, who's obviously our Super League champion, you know, winning World Fastest Gamer. When we sort of presented those figures and said, look, this is how big sim racing is. This is how your competitors on the Formula One stage are taking sim racing seriously. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for you, kind of thing. And we just sort of showed them the figures and just said, look, you know, lots of people are watching. You know, the World Fastest Gamer peaked at, you know, hundreds of thousands of viewers when I was presenting, and it ended up being even more. I think that was a big convinced they weren't 100% sure in the viewership in sim racing. I said, look, this is where it's at, and you know, we're expecting it to grow even more over the next sort of, you know, 18 months, 2 years, you know, with people coming in. So yeah, you know, it helped the whole sim racing environment, helped a lot of sponsors are getting involved in sim racing now. A lot of you know, a lot of big companies, a lot of big names are getting involved in sim racing, and that helped a lot. In Red Bull was the latest addition to that.
And yeah, I congratulate you already at this stage. You know, you're a few days into 2018 and already made a huge splash at this stage. I'm showing off the lovely potential liveries at this stage as well, which of course could change depending on the car shape, and also presumably depending on Red Bull's launch themselves, I would assume, coming forwards this year.
Yeah, Red Bull are now title sponsored in Formula One anyway by Aston Martin, so possibly a change of livery ourselves when that livery is announced. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We might have 2 liveries this season. Right.
Okay, that's interesting. Always keeps us interested all the way throughout the season as well. Bring you in, David, as well, because we've spoken mostly there with Ben. David, you were part of the team last year as well, obviously driving for the team, doing more management this time this year. We haven't announced the lineup yet of the drivers, but which we will do in a minute. So keep tuning in, guys, if you're waiting on that. It's not the biggest announcement still to come. Yeah, so you've sort of pulled in. So did you learn a lot last year from, you know, Will Tringus being the owner as well? But did you learn a lot last year as part of the management side? And is that still interesting to you? Is that going to be a big change? What made you sort of stay on and take that role on?
My results were getting really bad for the during as the season went on. So I was kind of feeling full of sim racing. I needed some kind of break, so I figured out that I could help the SRS from the managing side, which is something new to me. Although I had access to, let's say, developing our car last season, but I still have a lot to learn there. And to be honest, when I heard out about our sponsorship, I had to rethink again about driving. So it was kind of tough decision, I could say. But as I got the full-time job, my first one, I realized I couldn't really focus too much on to give the proper results this team deserves with this kind of deal. So
I think that's a very mature way to look at it. You know, to know your own limitations and to know what value you can still bring. Because obviously your results and your drives last year helped to bring around the sponsorship deal as well. You know, that's what people have been seeing, particularly if they've been involved since, was it Monza you were saying, Ben? You know, that they've sort of been around and involved. Then that's quite a big
from
chunk.
About Monza, yeah.
It's quite a big chunk of the season that they potentially, could have been watching it at HQ or anything like that, or whatever it may. However they watch these things nowadays might have been possible. What we have got still, guys, to go through though, because I know you guys are all thinking about, this is my sponsorship deal, this is what we're going to do with the team, but you've got to have some drivers in that car. Car looks very nice, beautiful in fact. We've all seen that sort of car kicking around on our big screens on the tracks. So, but you want some drivers to go in that as well, I presume. So should we go with? We've got a couple of other people here. Do you want to go take this away, guys, as managers? Who's going to be driving this car next year in 2018 at GPWC.com?
Yeah, sure. So in the number 11 car for Street Fighter next season will be myself. I've managed to keep my own seat after some discussion with David. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. We managed to keep the seat and progress forward. The real sort of coup though is who's in our number 12 seat, and you may recognise him. He's in fact the last race he competed in he won, so that could be a little bit of spoiler. Mr. Florian Gaia.
Hi guys.
Welcome, Florian.
Thank you.
So quite an impressive lineup there, really. We've got two guys that have, well, you both drove last year. You both, Florian, you've won races. Ben, you've done very well as well. You've been done over 50 now. You pulled in this year. That was about 3 races from the end, I believe, was 50.
Yeah, Mexico. Yeah.
So that's got the experience there in Super League alone. Florian, though, that's quite I think probably turned a few heads when you said you were leaving Nordschen. Finally, people now know where you're actually heading to. I suppose, no offence, Ben, but I'm going to move to Florian mainly on this at the moment, purely because it's a bit of a bigger bigger shot.
Absolutely, no, take it away.
Understandable, I hope. Race winner as well already in Super League and teams champions with Nordschen before. So, what on earth made you make the leap from there? Is it most people were probably quite shocked that you'd left Nordschen.
First of all, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year, and it was around Monza, as Ben said before. He approached me about the possibility of driving for his team, and he showed me this and that, and he gave me a bit of time to think about this whole deal and make a decision. I don't know exactly how long it took, but I think 3 or 4 weeks later, I made up my mind. It was obviously quite a difficult decision for me. I spent quite a lot of time at Nordschen, and it was a great time. I had lots of great memories in those 3 years, and met great people. So it wasn't easy to decide, but in the end, I thought this chance is too good to throw away easily. So I told Ben around yeah, 3-4 weeks after he initially got to me that I will join his project and put all my effort and time and everything into it, and trying to make this team a championship caliber team. I've been in the league for nearly 5 years now, and I've worked with the best people around. I know what it takes to win the big one. So I hope this is gonna help all of us in the team to really progress quickly. I know that we didn't finish that well in the championship last year, but that's different circumstances, and now it's a fresh start for us. And yeah, I think we're really going to kick ass from round one. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the first race in like 2 months' time.
Well, I think it's, like I say, it's great to have come on board with a sort of new project. I'd imagine it's probably quite an exciting time. Arguably, though, I'd imagine you've now sort of, I mean, you can disagree at nauseam, but arguably now you've sort of come across, and realistically, you're sitting in as the number one driver now in this team. No offence, Ben, but you'll completely admit it yourself at this stage.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, absolutely.
That, whereas being at Nordstrom, you had a very even team. You and David got on really well. You were both race winners. You knew what you were doing. You come over to a new team, and the expectation, I suppose, as being that number one driver and Red Bull as the name as well. Is there a bit of pressure involved in this year compared to other years?
I'm always putting quite a lot of pressure on myself to perform on the highest level and get the results I want. After finishing 2016 pretty strong, I was convinced I could win the championship last year. Obviously it didn't happen because someone else was pretty quick, pretty much over 12 months. But yeah, number one driver is really for me something that's just on paper. All I want is for this team to be successful. I don't care if I finish behind Ben. Of course, the aim is for me to perform well and pick up wins and everything else, poles and all that stuff. But as long as this team really progresses and gets where I want it, that's all I need. And yeah, it's just really on paper number one. It's not really something that matters to me, and it didn't matter to me at Nordstrom either.
That's fair enough then. I suppose it's not. I mean, we've seen teams come and sort of have a solid first season like Street Fighter did in 2017. Around the sort of finishing, the sort of 6th, 7th, 8th sort of position in the championship, to then go on in the next year to really move on. So actually, it might have been quite a good strategy game. So it might be one to watch out for, guys. Street Fighter here. If you're listening to all this sort of thing, going, yeah, but last year, no. Teams use that as a base and can move on to this. So speaking of moving on to base, Ben, you were here last year. You're manager, you're driver. You've worked on the sponsorship as well. Is there anything you're not doing at the moment? Is there a lot on your plate?
I think the only thing I'm not doing is really engineering myself. But no, do you know what? There's not a lot on my plate at the minute. If I'm completely honest, just got to focus. Just got to, I'm going into this. It's the reason we brought David in to help with the management. Most of the management side of things can be done between both of us, and you obviously share that load, so I can focus on helping Flo with the setups. And obviously we got our third driver that we haven't actually announced yet, but we will get there to help us as well. So we've got plenty of people around us. We've got ourselves as engineers and things. So we've got a lot of people, so it takes the pressure off a lot of us. So we can just for myself and Flo, come Thursday we can just drive and chill. And just focus on moving ourselves up the grid. Like Flo said, we've got ambitions to get wins and podiums this season. If we can get a win at sort of Melbourne with Flo, back-to-back winner in different cars, different seasons, that'd be quite an achievement, I think. So no pressure there, Flo. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting season. It's going to be a fun one. Stay tuned.
Well, we'll definitely stay tuned. Yeah, here at SimNews.TV, we will definitely be involved in looking at everything going on. Working with, I mean, I presume you haven't really worked together that much yet with yourself and Flo. Is there, whereas it was sort of well known that Florian and David got on really well at Nordstrom over years of working together. Building that, how do you start off building that relationship as a driving duo together, like as a new chapter for either of you, that is?
I don't know. I think obviously it was the same for me and David last season. Me and David hadn't worked together before we started last season, and now we're joint managing the team. So it shows that it can be done, and it can progress quite far. But I think we both got a very similar work ethic. Flo's is gonna work hard to try and improve the car and improve the setup. I'm gonna do exactly the same. And we've obviously got David there to help us as well, and our third driver as well, Ben Superneck, who's going to be joining us for 2018 as well.
Who we can bring in now as well, actually.
Who we can bring in, Ben, as well. So we've got the support structure around him. It's not a case of just building a duo. It's at this point it's all four of us can drive a car and help test and things. So we're going to be using that a lot.
Well, yeah, of course, I can completely understand that. But let's bring Bence in then. So, as reserve and test driver, hello, Bence.
Hi guys.
You've waited long enough. Apologies for having you sat there waiting.
It's okay.
I suppose that's part of the reserve driver role, isn't it? I suppose waiting and waiting. It's quite. You've moved this year from actually driving full time, moving into the reserve test driver role. What's made you think of that move? You obviously. Kerno unfortunately folded at the end of the year, but you did do some good results in that car. Arguably you probably could have a race drive somewhere. Was the draw of Red Bull was stronger and you just thought I want to be part of this team, or was it just actually, you know what, I'll take a step back for personal reasons or time issues, or how can we see you in a test role rather than a race role, basically?
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock to see Kerno retiring, so I had to look for another team. And luckily I got some invites from different teams in Super League, but I found this deal the better. I mean the best, because when I get to know that David is part of the team, part of the managers and stuff, I already got excited and see the possibility joining to this team. And I have to highlight that I'm not only going to be a reserve driver, I'm going to race in Super Cup next season. I'm not allowed at the moment to say in which team. It's going to be not my business at this time. But yeah, it's very great to see that a brand like Red Bull is joining to sim racing. It's gonna be my 11th year in sim racing, and it's amazing to see how it goes. I'm in the sport, and yeah, it surely brings a great value to the sport.
Absolutely does. I mean, I won't try and push you on who you're driving for next year then in that case. I'll await that announcement somewhere else. But do you think balancing the two will be easy enough as a test driver and a race driver elsewhere? Hello? Okay, fair enough. Let's hope microphone working needs a bit more testing from the test driver. Maybe that might be something we need to do. Should we try again? Still there?
Oh, I think he's just dropped out.
He's just dropped out. Okay, fair enough. There's first team issue, guys. Team meeting. Get connection sorted for the test driver. Otherwise, looking very strong. All right, so we'll go back to you guys.
I'm back, guys.
Right, there we go. And Bence is back.
All right, Bence. As I've asked already. Yeah. Time-wise, balancing a test driver role and a drive elsewhere, is going to be all right, you think?
You heard actually what I said, or it was completely wrong? Because something is going on with my Discord. I said actually a few sentences. I don't know if it was hearable or not.
Oh, about that, I didn't get that on my end, I'm afraid, so I don't think that'll have gone out to everybody
okay,
either.
So
but
I'm going to restart it again. So yeah, I got many invites from the winter, and basically I found this deal the better and the best. Because when I got to know that David is part of the manager's team, I already got excited, and because he's one of my great friends in sim racing. And I also have to highlight that I'm also gonna race in Super Cup this year. But obviously I want to focus on building Street Fighters to a higher level. And yeah, it's great to see that a brand like Red Bull is coming to the sport. This is gonna be my 11th year in sim racing, so it's great to see how the sport is also developing and how sim racing is getting bigger and bigger.
Fantastic. So Ben and David, bringing Bence in as a test driver, that must be quite a coup, really, to be able to bring in a tested Super League driver with top results, to be able to bring him into a team as your test driver. Bit of a scoop, really. You don't find many test drivers that are quite as experienced as that.
Yeah, the main goal is to be consistent with.
I think Dave was just kind of yeah. It's huge. Obviously, Bence was in the running for a seat alongside Flo, and when it was decided that both seats were taken, we still wanted to have Bence involved. It's getting somebody like Bence in, who's raced multiple years in Super League as a test driver is it's crazy. It's something that I didn't think we'd be able to achieve, but luckily Bence agreed and he joined us, and like I said, he's going to be racing he's going to be racing in Super Cup. Very nearly spotted there. He's going to be racing in Super Cup.
Nearly got a little exclusive out of you.
He's going to be racing in Super Cup and supporting us as well. So yeah, it's huge.
I mean, I think it's as the guys in the comments are saying as well, it's shaping up to be a thrilling season by the looks of it. Awful lot of reaction with the Red Bull side of stuff and the Florian joining as well, which is great to see. Including your old testing mate there, Florian, Mr. David Junt, who's didn't guess it, so that's good to hear. Obviously, secrets kept very well in the Norwegian camp, even from your own test drivers. That's very impressive. So realistic expectations. Where are we looking at this year? We'll be literally going right. We are Red Bull. We are going for titles now. Is that 2018?
Maybe. No, we've got some realistic expectations. The title may be out of reach for this season, but it's never say never. We've seen a lot of teams, like I said, come in and win titles off a really good base season. So it's possible, but we've got some expectations. Like I said, we want to pick up wins and podiums.
Well, absolutely. I think we all do, don't we? Isn't that what we race, really? That's kind of the whole point, I suppose. But fair enough. So, anyone else you want to thank while we're on this? Any other sponsors on the horizon? Anyone else? Or if anyone wants to follow you, how can they follow you? What can they do? Where can they look for?
So yeah, we're going to be ramping up our social media. So if you're going on Facebook and you want to like our Street Fighter Racing page on Facebook, it'd be much appreciated. Other sponsor announcements, they won't be quite as big as this, but we will be announcing more sponsors on Facebook over the coming weeks. So check out for that. And obviously, if you know of any sponsors that do want to be involved in this project, you can also hit us up on Facebook as well, and where we can talk, we can discuss some things.
That's fair enough. Of course, everybody make sure you can all follow this through gpwc.com, where you'll be able to catch all the races and all the news as well over the coming weeks. You'll also be able to catch that on SimNews.TV as well, because we've got our shows continuing with the league, particularly with all this sort of stuff going on. Like you say, there's so much kicking in. We won't go into so much more with you guys. I could talk to you for hours about all the tracks and the lineups and the mods and everything, but we'll have to say that for another time. I think you've already told us enough, and I think some people are a little bit shell shocked as what's happened this evening already. But I very much thank you guys for making it on SimNews.TV an announcement today. So should we, as a quick recap for everybody, if you've missed any of this at all, we're talking gpwc.com, we're talking Street Fighter Racing Systems, we're talking now Red Bull Street Fighter Racing Systems, yes, Red Bull. We're also talking the driver lineup. We've got Mr. Ben Horrell Florian Gaia and Ben Stepanek as the test driver there, with David Franchik as well as the management side of things, along with Ben. So I think that's it in a nutshell, isn't it, everybody? Everybody say yes.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, yeah.
Well done, chaps. It's like a well-oiled machine. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. If you want to catch up a few more things, we will be carrying on the Scrutineer over the coming weeks, along with the SL show that will be kicking in as well. And I'm sure you'll be able to catch up on so much more through all the social media, through the league, or through ourselves, or through Street Fighter Racing Systems on their Facebook or many other social media outlets. So I suppose that all that leaves is for me to say congratulations, guys. Really, that's an incredible off season you've already had. There's not really much more to say, is there? Really, you can't really do much bigger than you have. So I think big things happening in 2018, not only at Street Fighter Racing Systems, not only at GPVWC.com, not only in sim racing in general and R Factor 2 and everything, and motorsport, and it's just esports in general are going to explode this year with sim racing, and this is just a start of things to come, I'm sure. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody, and we shall see you very soon.